everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another speed build video. Today we are renovating the 19 Culpepper house apartment in San Myshuno. If any of you know me by now, you know that I absolutely adore renovating apartments in The Sims 4. They are one of my all-time favourite builds to work on, and with this particular apartment we have gone for a very pink, pastel-y, girly sort of theme, and I really like how this came out. I think it looks really nice. So we have an open plan kitchen, living and dining room space. This is the apartment with the balcony, so I replaced the door with a sliding door from Tiny Living, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. We have 2 double bedrooms, and then we have a shared main bathroom that is also a laundry room as well. And then of course we have the balcony just off to the side there, which looks really cute. I'm really pleased with how it came out. We put a barbecue out there. There's a seating area. It looks really nice, but you'll see that nearer the end of the video because that is the last section that I worked on. But we're just working on the kitchen here. Again, adding lots of clutter items, just making it look lived in. You know the drill by now. This is obviously how I work. We put some extra counters. I say extra counters, there's just one counter that we put there just so that we can pop a coffee machine on there because I think it looked really nice and it utilised the space a bit better as well. To the right here is where the dining room table goes, and what's really nice about that is that your Sims will have a stunning view of the outside through the sliding doors. So yeah, I think this worked out really quite nicely. Using a few items from the Eco Lifestyle pack, I definitely didn't go overboard with them, or at least not that I can remember. I know with a lot of my builds I go quite overboard with the items from the Eco Lifestyle pack because they are some of my favourites, but I think with this build I don't think we went too over the top with them. So if it's a pack that you don't have, obviously you can just replace the items with obviously substitutes that you want to pop in there as well. So we keep the theme of these sort of like, I think the main colours are pink and yellow from what I can remember, but we just sort of experiment with some different textures, some different styles. I don't think this apartment is one particular theme. I think it's a bit of a mixture of all sorts. I can imagine the Sims that live here just enjoy life, I guess, and that's reflected in this apartment because it is very fun. But as I said at the start of the build, this dining area has a stunning view. It's not particularly overly decorated, but it looks so nice in the screenshots, which you will see at the end of the video. I think that is probably my favourite part of this apartment, which is unusual for me because normally my favourite parts of any build that I do are the kitchens, as opposed to anything else. So for it to be the dining room of this build, I was quite surprised with that. The living room it's nice. It's not, I had a bit of a hard time deciding which rug and which sofas and chairs to use in this apartment for some unknown reason. Everything else came so easily to me, but the living room was the room that I had the most trouble with in terms of deciding what I wanted to put where and what colours I wanted to bring in, because obviously I wanted to keep the theme going throughout the apartment. And for some reason, the living room just baffled me there for a while. We eventually got into the swing of it, we made some changes here and there. And I also wanted to cover up the mouse hole because it's a little bit of an eyesore, let's be honest. So, and I don't have any mods installed to delete that, so I just wanted to cover it up. So yeah, I'm just trying to put like plants in front of it and cushions, I think we end up doing as well, and then chairs and just anything that I can find to try and cover up that hole. I tried anyway, but that fireplace there I think looks really nice. That is one of my all-time favourite fireplaces, and if you're doing a slightly more modern build, I think it works really well, and when it's on it just warms the whole place up. It looks fantastic. But as I was building this apartment, I couldn't help but think that this is the kind of apartment that I would have loved to have lived in with some of my girlfriends, when I was at uni or after I'd moved out from my parents' house. I think it's such a fun apartment, and I actually never, I think we've talked about this before on the channel, but I never got to live in an apartment. I moved from my parents' house into, who was my fiance at the time, into my fiance's parents' house for about 5 or 6 months, and then we moved into our own house about... Oh, it was a few months before we got married. We moved into our own house, and my husband and I talk about this sometimes. Neither of us have lived in an apartment, and when I showed him this build, because I always like to show him what I've been working on, and he said that he would have loved to have lived not in an apartment decorated like this per se, but in an apartment sort of like the same style, you know, with the exposed brick and the... He said he would have absolutely loved to, and we do, like I say, we talk about it all the time, and we both would have loved to live in an apartment. I think now it's slightly more unrealistic. My husband has 2 children and we have 2 dogs, so I think we'd have to live in a pretty big apartment. And obviously with having dogs, we like to have a back garden as well, because the dogs like to run around in the garden. So yeah, but I would have loved to have lived in an apartment. So we're just working on the laundry room / bathroom here. Again, I'm just trying to cover up all these like items that come with this particular apartment, because as I said before, I don't have any mods installed to allow me to remove these items. I should maybe look at considering actually downloading one, because they do bother me, and I did my best to hide them, but I do like how the pipes sort of stick out from the back of the washing machines. I don't know why, I just think it looks not realistic, because I don't think you would have pipes necessarily sticking out from the back of a washing machine or a dryer, but I just think it adds to the character of the apartment. So I actually I don't mind that at all. And the mice holes you can cover up easily enough with items and things like that. So this does have, as I said before, 2 double bedrooms, so it's quite a spacious apartment, because we don't lose any floor space. You know, I don't feel like any room in this apartment or any space in this apartment is particularly small. It doesn't give that sort of vibe. So, and I can't remember what the initial floor plan was like, whether there was just 1 bedroom or whether there were 2 bedrooms, but I did change the floor plan. I kept the bathroom where it was, but I think I made it slightly bigger to allow us to put in a washing machine and a dryer, which I think worked out quite nicely. So I have been thinking about my next apartment renovation speed build video already, and I think I'm gonna do like my dream apartment, like mine and my husband's dream apartment, because I think that might be kind of fun. I've also been thinking about building our real life house. I've been thinking about building our dream house. I've been thinking about doing modern farmhouses. I've got all these ideas saved on a Pinterest board, and I'm quite excited to get them done, really. And also I want to do a lot more autumnal themed builds as well, because obviously we are entering autumn, thank goodness. If you are returning to the channel, then you know that autumn is my all-time favourite season, and I'm very excited for it to start. So we're just finishing up on this bedroom here. Each bedroom has its own kind of theme, I think you could say. Both of them have the colour yellow in them, as you can see here. So what I usually do with bedrooms is I will put the bed down and then base the room around the bed. Or that's what I tend to do with, let's say, like young adult and up apartments. Bedrooms. With children's rooms, I work a little bit differently, because I like to make them very colourful, very cluttered, very lived in. So I work a slightly different way. But with this one, I think it turned out all right. It's very colourful. It's very fun, but bedrooms aren't my strong suit. They're not my favourite rooms to decorate. So I feel like a lot of my builds, the bedrooms aren't as strong as maybe the rest of the builds. But if you have downloaded any of my builds, you may or may not have already noticed that, because it is something that I have talked about before. And there is a TV in this room, which there isn't in the other one. So your Sims can fight over which one gets to have the TV in their room. And we use these really cute shelving units from the Nifty Knitting Stuff Pack. I haven't used them enough, I don't think, but I have been using them recently. So now we're just popping outside and sorting out the balcony, which is the last part of the build. We didn't do anything too crazy out here, you know, as I said before, we do this seating area, so we just have a small table with 2 chairs on, which we eventually put some let's call them nectar glasses, because in theory that's what Sims call wine. It's nectar, but let's face it, they're wine glasses. We put on a candle there as well, and then we put these planters in. We put some like normal bushes in there. Obviously you can just remove them if you want your Sims to plant some real flowers in there, but that'll be entirely up to you. So this apartment is available to download from the gallery. My origin ID is RachelPedd. As always, the tray files are available to download from the description below. They're available from Sim File Share, but I really hope you guys enjoy this. If you do end up using this in your game, please feel free to tweet me at RachelPedd and send me some screenshots. But thank you very much for joining me here today, and I will see you next time. Bye!